Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. It is the podcast where the co-host is a defensive player of the year, and he is located in the Peach Belt Conference at Columbus State University. The man known as Nelson Haskin. What's up, man?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Good, man. Very excited about another guest, man. We on the road with this guest, man. We got a guest coming in today. I'm gonna let you introduce him this time, man. So tell us about our guest for today.
Our guest for today is a good friend of mine. He's currently the head men's basketball coach at Chattahoochee Valley Community College in Phoenix City. He's a guy that, you know, since I've known him, he's been nothing but a friend, nothing but a mentor. He's taught me a few things here and there, and he's actually currently the reigning South Division ACCC Coach of the Year, and so. Without further ado, man, we want to introduce y'all Coach Ben Hicks. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. How you guys doing? Thanks for the invite. I'm only doing it, but for Nelson. And I think I shared that with you before, but glad to be here. I'm excited to answer any question that you guys may have. I think what you guys are doing right now is awesome, and I'm gonna speak it. It's definitely gonna take off, and you guys gonna be great at it.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate that, Coach. That means a lot to us. But we're gonna jump right into it. So our first question: can you just tell us a little bit about young Coach Hicks and how you came up, where you're from? Let the people know who you are and what you're about. So can you get into young Coach Hicks for us?
Okay, so. I'm originally from Phoenix City, Alabama. I played at, I played at Bevel State Community College in Jasper, Alabama for 2 years. And I was fortunate to get a scholarship at Shorter University in Rome, Georgia. Played there for 2 years where I finished my degree, my bachelor's degree. And actually, coming out of high school, you think, you're going to have a long career playing, pro basketball and possibly, NBA and overseas. But I knew early in my career, I wasn't, very good. So I knew I wanted to stay around the sport and, possibly help kids reach their goals. So I knew and kind of serve as a mentor, so I know coaching was my calling. And actually, my head coach, Ricky William at Shorter, is best friends with Scott Moe at Middle Georgia State University. So he gave him a call and shared with him that I wanted to get into coaching. So at the age of 23, I was able to get a start on the collegiate level, and it's tough. It's a tough business. It's a tough business to crack into it. And I don't like talking about this, but my third year for working with Scott Moe, his wife unexpectedly passed away. So at the age of 25, I was actually named the interim head coach, which prepared me for the future. So I left there basically because I know in this business, in order to move up to make any type of money, you have to have your master's. So I decided to actually volunteer at Chattahoochee Valley from 2015. I'm sorry, 2005, 2007. Because like I just stated, I wanted to get my master's. So I was able to get my master's from Troy University in sports and fitness management. And actually, before I graduated, I was named the head coach it's Coastal North now, but at the time it was Alabama Southern. So I was named the head coach there at the age of 28. So I was there for 4 years and wanted to try out Division I. I had some success at Alabama Southern. I felt like I did everything I can do at that particular institution. So James Green gave me opportunity at Jacksonville State University. I coached there for 1 year, had opportunity to coach against Isaiah Cannon. He was at Murray State at the time. And actually played at a a classic out at St. Mary's against Weber State. And so I had the opportunity to see Dame Dollar live. And it was so many scouts there. You know, I heard about him. Actually, it was my scout. I tried to warn the guys about how good he is. You know how kids are. You know, you're going over the scout. Oh, coach, he's not that good. He's not that good. But we all know he's a great player. So that was a great experience. And so I wanted to move back home, get close to the family. I had a son at the time that was starting high school. So Coach Moore at Columbus State got the salary where I can take care of my family. So I decided to take an assistant position with Coach Moore at Columbus State University. We had great success there, and I was with him for 4 years, learned a lot from him. And then Georgia Southwestern State University came open in Americus, Georgia, applied for it, got the job there. I was there for 3 years. And, you know, every level is different. You know, I had success at the junior college level. And of course, you know, Nelson, the Peach Belt, it's a gauntlet. And me being a young coach, first time head coach, Division II head coach, I had an okay year my second year. And, you know, my third year, it wasn't that good. But, you know, anytime things don't work out, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and not point fingers at people. But unfortunately, my mom got sick that last year at Southwestern, so I was forced to move back home. And actually, I resigned from Southwestern before I even had a job here. And luckily, the guy I worked for, Richard Mahone, had just retired. So I applied for the job and got the job at Chattahoochee Valley. And I was able to come back home to take care of my mom full-time and have a full-time job. So that's kind of my stepping stone in the business. It's a great career. It takes a lot of discipline and hard work, and you definitely got to have a eye for talent, and you know, you got to put a lot of pieces together. You know, you're talking about just say you got a team of 12 guys on the roster. You got to find ways to get 12 individuals to come together to achieve a common goal. And you know, I don't like to talk about myself, but you know, luckily I was able to, you know, have that gift to, you know, identify the talent. And, you know, there were some coaches that took me under my wings as a young coach and definitely taught me the game. So here I am now at Chattahoochee Valley, just finished my third year. Also, I'm the athletic director the last 3 years. I'm a defensive guy. Last 3 years, we led the state in points allowed defensively. We won the South Division Championship last year, and I was voted Coach of the Year 2 years in a row. Not because of me, but you know, I have a great staff and I have good players.
Yeah, it's quite the track record for somebody like that's not that old, like in the game, really. Like, you know,
well, you say that. I just finished year 20. I started at the age of 23, so I feel like an old head.
Well, you didn't, you know, been in the game that long though. But you, as a person, you're not an old man. Like, you know, I done played, like, you know, I played for Coach Tommy Suits, and so he was old when I got there. So he was one of them guys like with a track record kind of similar to like what you've been saying. Like, he could go on for a while telling you all the places he been and played and coached at. So
right.
But that's good that you was fortunate to coach on every level, just about.
Yeah.
So a question I had for you with that was, can you speak on some of the differences between every level from Division I to Division II to JUCO to like all the coach to all the positions you done held? Like, what was the differences in every level in coaching at least?
Yeah. So, you know, I would say with junior college is you're more hands-on with your players. And one thing I like about junior college, you take a kid that, you know, have little to no recruitment and and watch him grow over the 2 years, you know, teaching him the fact that I do have, you know, the 4-year experience. So my program, I try to run like a Division I program, you know, with, and it starts with academics. And I tell my guys all the time, you know, those 4-year coaches, they're going to identify the talent. The first thing they're going to ask for once they identify the talent is that transcript. So, you know, that's something we talk about, you know, every single day with my guys, academics, because, you know, the climate of college basketball now, you know, you get a 4-year coach that's, you know, actively recruiting a junior college kid, and you look at that transcript, and if it's not up to par, you know, they're going right into the portal. So with junior college, you know, it's an opportunity to get a kid out of high school and mold him and prepare him for that next level before, you know, he move up to the 4-year and get spoiled, and, you know, with the dorms, the cafeteria, the gear, and things like that. And then once they come down to junior college, they think, you know, they think you're doing them a favor, pretty much. So I'm gonna compare Division II. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's you know, like I said, I worked for Coach Moore for 4 years, who had great success there. But Division II is one of the hardest levels to recruit to. Now, if you really think about this, when a kid come out of high school, they want to go where? Division I, right? So if they don't get the Division I offer out of high school, they'll go prep school. So when they leave prep school, where they want to go? Division I. All right. When they come junior college and leave junior college, Division I. You know, so I think college basketball, not knocking Division II. Again, I'm an advocate for, you know, I coached Division II. I had great success there, but it's all about JUCO and Division I. A lot of times, NAI schools and Division II levels kind of get lost in the mix. So I would say Division II is one of the hardest levels to recruit at. And with Division I, now I'm gonna be honest with you, the perks that you get, you know, the travel, you know, you flying here, the hotels you staying in, you playing in nice arenas and things like that. But it's a lot of pressure there as well, you know, for a young assistant that want to coach at that level, because everybody, that's everybody's ultimate goal. When I first got into coaching, my ultimate goal was to be a Division I assistant. Not saying I want to be a Division I head coach, but I want to be a Division I assistant. So any young guy that wants to coach at that level, they have to understand it's 3 things they have to be good at. That's recruiting, academics, because of the APR, and scouting reports. All right, those are 3 things they have to be great at. You know, academics, you got to make sure these guys are passing class. And I mean, you're not doing work for them, but you got to make sure they're in the right place at the right time. And scouting reports just depend on who you're working for. You know, it's some guys you can work for, you know, just say you're playing, you know, Cincinnati, and it's your scout, and, you know, the team run an inbound play that you didn't cover. You know, that head coach may go ballistic on you. Hey, we didn't cover this. So to kind of sum everything up, I enjoy the 2-year institution because it's not political. You know, at the 4-year level, Division II, Division I is very political. You know, you got people and boosters pouring in that money into their program. They feel like they have a say-so. You know, at this level right here, well, not this level right here, but junior college level, it's all about molding kids, making sure you teaching them life skills, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do academically, teaching them how to manage their time. You know, we, like at Chat Valley, we practice at 1 o'clock. Like, we stretching at 12:45. We getting started at 1 o'clock. So just teaching guys, you know, what it takes to compete at the next level. And like I tell my guys all the time, you know, you can't afford to have an off day. You can't afford to not come to the gym because of the transfer portal, you know, especially if you're a guard. I mean, it's guards all over the country. So I ask them all the time, what are you doing outside of what's mandatory to separate yourself, you know, from the other guards in the country? I can tell you one thing, you're killing in the classroom academically. You know, you impacting the game without scoring on the court. You know, that's another thing. You displaying, you know, good body language. You're a high character kid. You know, you're a winner. You playing the right way. It's not all about you. It's about the team. So again, to sum everything up, I love junior college. I don't want to go back to the 4-year level. I definitely don't miss the political side of it.
Man, that's interesting to hear somebody say they don't want to go back to the 4-year level. That's different.
Yeah, I'm in a good place right now. Like I said, I'm home. You know, I got a great boss. Administration is awesome. You know, I'm an athletic director. This is I'm going into my 21st year, so I'm not sure how much longer I have in coaching. It may be a situation I may come in and be like, hey, I'm just go be the athletic director and hire some young coach, you know, just like somebody gave me an opportunity at a young age.
So talk to me about your because I don't think I've heard too many of ADs / coaches at the like same time. So how do you do that? Like honestly, I don't even like compute myself. How do you like be an athletic director and a coach at the exact same time?
Yeah, I think the first thing you have to do, you have to be organized. And you know, and I learned this from my athletic director at Georgia Southwestern, Mike Leader. He taught me a lot on, you know, not just being a great coach, you know, just how to run a basketball program. And, you know, from the AD side of it, like I say, you just got to be organized, and you have to map out your day and understand that your student athlete doesn't come first. You know, unfortunately, you know, you got to focus on the other student athletes, you know, the baseball players, the softball players, and the women basketball player. They come before, you know, your actual player. But you know, it's not hard. You know, like I said, if you stay organized and kind of plan out your day and you structure and you know, have, you know, great open communication with your coaches and let them know, hey, from this time period to this time period, you know, it's all about men's basketball, but I'm available, you know, before and after practice. So just pretty much just going an extra mile and making sure all student athletes have exactly what they need.
So do you find that hard sometimes when you like got to put other players or like other sports, other athletes above your players at the time?
No, I don't. You know, because like I said, as an athletic director, you know, once I get in that mindset and get in that mode and that role, like all the student athletes are mine, if that makes sense. You know, but once I put on that Coach Hicks hat and walk into that gym, and it's time for us to practice. Now I'm Coach Hicks, but you know, outside of that, you know, I'm the athletic director. So just trying to be fair, you know, make sure all the budgets are, you know, similar, you know, make sure, you know, the playing field are even, make sure every sport have, you know, pretty much the same amount of dollar amount, you know, across the board, you know, just say if a booster give us $2,000 or something, you know, I wouldn't put it in men's basketball. I'll probably, you know, give it to you know, softball or women's basketball, or try to split it up, you know, across the board. Now, a lot of ADs don't think that way, but you have to be fair. And if you do that, good things will happen for you.
Makes sense. So tell me about like when you became the interim head coach, your first head coaching job that you mentioned. Did you feel like you were ready at that time? Like, and how old were you? I don't know if you mentioned how old were you, but did you feel like you was ready when that happened?
I wouldn't say I was ready, no, because it happened unexpectedly. But actually, I was 25 at the time, and you know, I think I was named to interim that summer prior to the school year. So with me, and I'm still a student of the game right now. So, and I wasn't making a lot of money at the time. Actually, when I first started coaching at Middle Georgia, I was making $5,000 a year. I stayed in the dorm. I was a dorm director, and I ate in the cafeteria with the students. So, but I wanted to get into the business, you know. But I wouldn't say I was ready. You know, what I did, you know, I just called a bunch of my, you know, coaching buddies, you know, one guy, he's very successful at South Georgia State, Corey Baldwin. You know, he kind of took me under his wings and kind of showed me their system. He was assistant coach at Clayton State at the time. And then I talked to Chris Wade at South Georgia Tech, because he was a very successful coach. And my mentor now to the day, Robert Moore, Coach Moore, he helped me out a lot and kind of, you know, gave me some advice, not just, you know, on how to win games, but I think it's important to know you have to be able to manage those guys' attitudes and behavior, but you got to have some type of balance as well. You know, you can't, you know, jump on them all the time and, you know, cuss them out and then don't have no relationship with them. You know, I think you have to show them that you care, you have their best interests, and once that trust comes in, those guys will run through the wall for you. But, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, Nelson, that year I was named interim, we started off that first semester, I think it was 11-1, but I made a mistake that I would never make again. I wasn't checking my guys' academics. You know, nobody told me to check on academics. I was assuming that those guys were going to class. So at the Christmas break, we lost like 5 guys, and you know, we started off 11-1. I think we finished the season like 15-15. You know, so it was a lesson learned. You know, part of it. You know, I learned from it and moved on. But you send a different Coach Hicks right now. I was crazy. You know, I didn't have no problem getting those guys to play hard and competing. And, you know, I was yelling, I was fussing, my blood pressure was up. But, you know, as you get older, you know, it doesn't take all that to kind of get your point across. Like right now, you know, I try not to use profanity, you know, around my guys or when I'm coaching. You know, I think there's other ways to get, like I said, to get your point across. And then they're human. You know, and I'm not going to abuse my authority just because I can cuss at a kid. Like, I'm not going to degrade a kid. That's somebody's child. You know, like I have kids. I don't want nobody, you know, mistreat my child or degrade my kid. But I am going to hold them accountable. And I think they understand the expectation, you know, prior to coming in. I make sure I explain that to them. And, you know, I got to say, man, I got guys that really play hard for me.
So would you say that academic checking was your biggest lesson you learned from coaching, or would it be something else?
Academics. Well, I would say even before academics, I think early on in my career, I always looked at the talent. Hey, this kid right here is a talented player, but I didn't verify the character. You know, in order to have a successful program, you got to have mature guys that want to get a degree and all about team and not about self. And that's something challenging. I think that's the one challenge, you know, I face every year at the junior college level. Because think about it, those guys feel as though I got to put up a certain type of number just to get recruited. You know, and I can give you guys a story. When I was with Coach Moore, I recruited a kid named Kenneth Funderburg, played at Aiken Tech, averaged 8 points a game, came to Columbus State, averaged 17-19, first team all conference. You know, D'Angelo Kirkland from Pensacola came off the bench, 6 points a game. He come to Columbus State, averaged a double-double, and both guys playing overseas. You know, so I try to get my guys to understand that, hey, if you play your role and we're winning games, you know, a true scout and coach go see that, hey, this kid averaged 8 points a game on a team that won 20-some game, and he's not the main guy. He coming to our program, you know, his game could possibly expand, you know. So, but yeah, going back to it, so character, that's something that I didn't verify, you know, prior to signing guys back in the day because I looked at the talent, but I was crazy too, though. You know, so I can get guys to play hard and compete, you know, but then, you know, secondly, yeah, the academic part of it, that's definitely something that I I learned from and taught me a valuable lesson after that year. You know, just like right now at Chattahoochee Valley, we have an academic plan in place. We feel as though that works for our guys. You know, I don't chase guys to class, and I tell them that, you know, prior to them signing here. I said, you got to meet me halfway. You know, if you meet me halfway, we're going to make sure you get all the resources that you need to be successful in the classroom. You know, guys have to go to study hall hours 6 hours a week with the Sense program where they're working with an academic coach. And at the beginning of the semester, we give each guy a calendar, and they have to go through their syllabi and write down every important assignment, every important date. They turn that calendar in to Coach Reedy, which is my assistant. He creates a spreadsheet and send out weekly reminders to the guys on assignments that they have due that particular week. And then lastly, we do weekly academic meetings with our guys, you know. So, and one thing I try to tell my guys, and I use myself, you know, as an example, you know, my parents didn't stress academic. I'm just gonna say it, you know, so I just did bare minimum, just enough to get by. And then when I went to Belvoir State and Jasper, Alabama, I was in every remedial course that they offer: reading, English, and math. But, you know, at that time, I knew the importance of academics. And, you know, I graduated from Belvoir State with my AA degree. I graduated from Shorter University with my BS degree, and then graduated from Troy with my master's. So if you come to Chat Valley, you know, again, the main goal is academic. The main goal is to get my guys graduated.
That's good, man. It's funny, like, I've heard multiple coaches say things kind of similar to you, talking about like when they were younger, they feel like they were crazy. Like when they first started like coaching, like you said that. Coach Suits used to say that all the time. I remember Coach Radford that used to coach at Southern Union. Yeah. He said the same thing. Man, it's just funny like how coaches always in there. And when you're a young coach, like, I mean, maybe possibly if I ever get into coaching, I feel this way too. But like it always seemed like coaches feel like when they were young, they were crazy, always doing too much, probably yelling too much, cussing too much.
Absolutely.
Like, but like, as they get older, they realize it don't take that much. Like Coach Suits, Lord rest his soul, like Coach Suits yelled at us, but like never did I ever feel disrespected by Coach Suits ever.
Right.
And I never felt like he never made me feel like less than, or I never felt like he was degrading me in any kind of way. Right. Like, did he yell? Like, did he cuss every now and then? Yeah, but you know, and he held us accountable, but like never did I feel like he was doing too much or going too far. Right. He never like seemed like he wanted to hurt anybody. He just was holding guys accountable. Right.
And like I said, it doesn't take all that. You know, it just raises your blood pressure, and you know, kids are different these days, you know, and I hate to say this, I tell them all the time, I don't trust them, you know. Just say, you know, we're in practice and, you know, we're not having a good practice, and I, you know, kick everybody out the locker room, out the gym, and tell them to go to the locker room, and I'm in the locker room cussing them and degrading them, and they got a phone in their pocket recording it. And once it's posted to social media, like, I'm done, I'm fighting, you know, and I got a family to think, you know, to take care of, you know. So I just don't do it. Like I say, like you said with Coach Suits, I knew him well, great guy, nice guy. You know, it don't take all that. Like I say, you know, degrade someone else's child. You know, that's not the ultimate goal as far as being a coach. Your job as a coach is to try to and you know, teach kids life skills and prepare them for the next level, not just basketball, life in general.
All right, like. A funny story I always tell people, like, this was Coach Suits in a nutshell. My main job as the big on our team was to run. Like, that was it. If I didn't, that was the first thing he ingrained in me. Hey, if you don't get the board, run. You be the first one down the floor. Run right down the middle of the floor. 9 times out of 10, you have a guard on, you post them up, all that. So run the floor. You're going to get easy points that way. So that was the first thing he drilled into me when I got there. So I remember one game, I want to say we was playing South Georgia Tech, actually. In the classic they had at Sheldon every year, and I guess I wasn't running, and so he takes me out, and then I'm walking by. He never said anything to me, but like he just took me out. I'm like, okay, so I'm walking to the bench. I ain't thinking nothing wrong. I feel like I'm not playing bad or nothing. He stopped me while I'm walking past him. He said, "Are you tired?" I said, "No, sir, I'm good. I can keep going." He said, "Oh, well, you weren't running, so that's why I took you out." And then he turned back to the game, and I was like,
"Yeah,
all right."
Yeah,
I guess I wasn't running, so he didn't have to spaz on me. He didn't have to start screaming, but like he got his point across. He was like, "You weren't running, so you coming out the game."
Yep, it's a great sign of a great coach.
Man, so he got me that day. I was like, well, I guess when I go back, I'll be running.
You have to, absolutely,
man. So I had the pleasure of playing at Bevel State also, as we also mentioned. So we played against y'all 2 years ago, my last year at Bevel, in the ACCC playoffs in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question is, I always wanted to ask another coach this. What was the scouting report for our team and then for me specifically? I want to know this.
So basically, of course, I'm gonna start with Latrell Tate.
Latrell Tate.
Yeah. So we felt as though that we can stop Latrell Tate from, getting anything easy in transition, whether that's a wide open layup or open three. We had a chance to beat you guys. He does a great job of selling shot fake. So that's one thing that we talked about. Him. He'll shot fake. Guys jump off their feet, and he jumped to
little James Harden.
Yeah. So what we want to do, first of all, and that's every game that we play. And I'm giving away my secrets right now. But one thing we talk about, and it's one thing we emphasize every single day at CV is transition defense. If you can get back in transition and take away easy layups and open jump shot, and you got teams sets scouted, and you box out and rebound, you're going to win a lot of games, no matter what level you're at. So with Latrell, we wanted to crowd him on catches and make him put on the floor and wall him up at the basket and stay down on shot fakes. And with you, same thing. You just mentioned it from watching film. Nelson go run the floor. Guards, we got to get back. We can't allow him to get easy layups. And if he does post up, we got the front and rely on our backside help. And another thing we want to do against you is just be physical with you and push off the block. But I remember late in the game, and I'm pissed off right now because y'all ran a simple cross screen action and get you the ball on the block, and you scored twice late in the game. I mean, that game was a low scoring game. We don't give up a lot of points. I think the final score was like 53-46. So we gave up those easy baskets to you, and then we lost Latrell in transition. I know you remember that. We lost him
the whole game.
Yeah, we lost him late a couple of times in transition. He made us pay for it, and then late in the game, he did what he did. Shot fake guy jumping. He jumping to people's bodies, and y'all was able to get the win. But that was the main thing to stop you and stop the trail and just take away anything easy and make sure all five guys gain rebound. On long rebounds we want to push, to try to get easy baskets. But if not, we was going to make y'all guard us in the half. And we felt like y'all had small guards, so we wanted, other people to beat us. But, unfortunately, you guys did a great job and y'all able to come out with a win.
Man, I remember that game like yesterday, because one thing about me is a pet peeve of mine, especially like in my younger, like when I was a younger player, but even now, I hate being double teamed. Like, I hate it. Because, like, number one, I feel like I'm not a scorer. Like, I never was, like, especially in high school and then my first year at JUCO, I never was the guy getting double teamed. Somebody else was always getting double teamed.
Right.
So then when my sophomore year at JUCO was the first time I ever was, like, noticing people sending two at me in the post. And I remember, like, being frustrated. I was like, what is happening? Like,
you got better.
I had to. I was forced to. And so I remember that game because, like, in the first half, I was getting real frustrated. I was like, I was almost confused. I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I catch the ball, I don't have no space.
Right.
And then like I'm kicking out the guards, and they not ready to shoot because they're not even used to it. So I'm like, oh man, like I was frustrated. And then like, thank God for Coach Seuss because he was like, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to get Nelly the ball right here. He called me Nelly more than he called me Nelson. He's like, we're gonna try to get Nelly the ball right here with this running. Make sure you be right here so the screen can get you. And then he came to me personally. He's like, hey, when you catch the ball, just go up. Don't worry about the double coming. Don't worry about like who's around. You tall enough, athletic enough. You can catch it, turn, go up. You got the hook shot. You work on it. It's gonna go in. And so that was what I went with. And the cross screen actually you talking about, we ran it late. The screen came. He said it perfect. Like I was exactly where he asked me to be. When I caught it, I turned and went up immediately. Mm-hmm. And shout out to Max. What's Max's last name?
Max Warren.
Max is a great player. Max is tough. I remember playing against him. He's a great player.
Yeah,
but Max was giving me a tough time the whole game. But then them two plays, like you said, I remember them two plays. I just caught it, went over the top, and I'm taller and like jump higher than him. So
it's almost like you like throwing it in the basket. You got too deep.
Exactly. Like the screen gave me the space I needed, and then I took what he said, and so it came right, like exactly how he said it was gonna come.
Yeah.
And so we snuck out of there with that one. I'll be thinking about it.
Y'all did sneak out of there.
Man, and I feel like we snuck out. Like that year was like the right year for us to do it because like y'all got even better like the next year and the next year.
Yeah.
And so that we met y'all at the right time.
Yeah, y'all did.
But it's all good though. So, B, you asked the next question. I'm sorry, me and Coach thinking about the past and whatnot.
No, I'm a Dame guy. You know, that's probably my favorite player right now, him and Westbrook. So I'm interested about that experience you had going against him. So what was that whole? Tell me about your game plan. You're talking about game plan now. So what was your game plan against Dame, and what was your experience during that game like?
So with that scout, I mean, to be honest with you, like, so when I do scouts, I try to look at personnel first, and then I look at their set plays, kind of determine how we're gonna guard a particular player. But I remember telling the guys, it's like you just gonna have to sit down and play him straight up, because if you think about it, he's a 3-level scorer. You know, he shot the 3, he shot the mid range, and he was super athletic. You know, so what we tried to do, we tried to limit his touches and just make it hard for him. But you know, when you playing against a pro NBA guy, it's only so much you can do. And then I remember my head coach at halftime just saying, "Hey, we can't just focus on Dame. You know, he's going to get him. We just got to stop." You know, the other guys, the role players, the X factors from scoring those points. But you know, I wasn't starstruck because, of course, you know, he wasn't in the NBA yet. But it was amazing to see, you know, all those scouts there just, you know, sitting in the stands, watching this particular kid play, and I was excited for him. You know, you talking about a kid that was from Oakland, California, with no recruitment, goes to Weber State. Now he's like a lottery pick, you know, just a testimony to him, you know, just believing himself and putting in the work to, you know, to get to the next level. But, you know, the whole experience was good. You know, just being a Division I assistant coach was a great experience. You know, we flew out, and that was my first time flying. You know, we flew out from Louisiana. We played Northwestern State and flew out I think at midnight to San Francisco, California, and we actually played at St. Mary's. I'm pretty sure y'all heard of St. Mary's. You know, they're normally in the championship game with Gonzaga every year. So, you know, just seeing, you know, just visiting California, seeing California, then having the opportunity to coach against Dame and seeing also NBA scouts in the stands was like an awesome experience.
You remember how many points he had against y'all?
I think he had 20-something. Maybe
okay.
20.
They ain't go too crazy then.
No, he didn't. They had a good team that year. They had a really good team, and he wasn't a selfish player. You know, he ran the point, he ran his system, and He just took what we gave him pretty much.
Okay. But okay, so you, like you mentioned earlier in the beginning of the episode, you won South Division Coach of the Year in the ACCC 2 years in a row, and you know the current reigning Coach of the Year. So tell us what that feels like, and like you know how did it feel to get recognized? Because you've only been at CV these past 3 years, right?
Yeah.
This past year was your 3rd year there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fair to say, you know, you come in and change some things and got it going in the right direction. So tell us a little bit about your 3 years here and what it means to you to have won Coach of the Year these past 2 years.
You know, I tell everybody all the time, like your program is only good as your staff and your players. And I got to say I have two great assistants, you know, with Coach Reedy. You know, Coach Reedy is a lawyer guy. He's trustworthy. He's a hard worker, and he have tough skin. You know how it is a head coach. Sometimes we have a lot on our plate, and you know I may say something like I never disrespect them in front of the players and anything like that. But you know there are some times where I get frustrated, and I may say something that later I regret. But he don't take it personally or anything like that. Coach Reedy does all the recruiting, and he's a monster on the recruiting trail. When I tell you he wear kids out, he wear them out. He texts them to death, FaceTime. He build that relationship with them, and he hold the kids accountable, but at the same time he have a great relationship, with the guys. So. He's the key to the program. I tell people all that, tell people that all the time, especially with me, taking on this new role as athletic director, so his role has expanded since I, stepped into this role. Before I came AD, I didn't allow my assistant coaches to touch academics. That was my baby. I had to make sure my guys eligible, make sure, they're doing their work and, and things like that. So with me taking on this role, him and Coach Champlin, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, roles increased, and I think it's good for Coach Reedy to take on additional responsibility. He's really good. I hate to lose him, but at the same time, I think he needs an opportunity at the next level because he is that good. He's part-time, he's in the office all times of the day. Again, with the increase in his role, he does all the scouts. He does practice. He assists me sometimes with eligibility, talking about my guys, not the other particular sports. He does individual workouts. That was something that I always done. And this year, since I've been at CV, that was my first time having an assistant coach. So I'm used to doing everything. So now, I'm allowing him to work. And then I have another assistant named Coach Champ. And actually we grew up together in the projects in Phoenix City next door to each other. Former military guy, he does all our strength conditioning. He's another Ben Hicks on the court. He hold those guys accountable, but at the same time, he love on them as well. I remember we had a kid that didn't go to class, and I told the kid to meet me in my office. Shit, before I got there, Coach Champ was giving him the business, so I just went back to my office because he took care of the situation. He's hands on with the guys. If a guy have a car issue or anything like that, of course, he's from Phoenix City, so he knows the right people to contact to assist our guys. Like I said, yeah, I won Coach of the Year, but at the same time, I got a great staff, and I got good players, man. That's the main reason why I won. I mean, I can't win an award without good players and good help. So we won Coach of the Year back to back.
That's great, man. That's nice to hear. They I can tell how much they are hands on with y'all guys and how much they love to be around and stuff like that. I think that's big with coaches in general, to want to be around the guys, to want to coach them. That's huge.
Absolutely.
Like, because I done been fortunate and in a way unfortunate to play for many different head coaches, and over the years I've been playing, and so like I done seen all different types of coaching styles and stuff like that. And like I had coaches where it's like, hey man, you know, he coach us and then he go home. You know,
yeah, that's not it. Yeah,
that's and you know that's okay as a player. You know, I'm not mad at him for that because I like now that I'm older, I understand. You know, he got a life. He do his own thing. He come here to play basketball, coach basketball, and then he go. But then you know, I've also had coaches like you said, like they'll hold on to their player, love on them, don't mind being around them. If we stay in a hotel somewhere, they'll come kick it in the hotel with us and things like that.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. So I can tell you got guys around that like they want to be around your players. They care about them as people and not just as players.
Absolutely. And
that's all good stuff. And then you personally also like you care about your players. You want what's best for them. Like you said, academics used to be your baby. Like that shows that you want what's best for them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like more than just basketball. Like you want them to be good people.
Absolutely.
And so yeah, like y'all definitely deserve, you know, everything y'all got. So yeah, that's just me giving you and your staff y'all flowers because y'all I feel like y'all do a great job. And you know, I pray that y'all able to keep it going and you know continue y'all success.
I appreciate it, man. Yes, sir.
For sure. But I think this will be my last question personally.
Okay.
So Coach Moore tells me that before I get here, he calls you about me as a player because you coached against me, saw me play live, all that. So I just want to know, how did that conversation go, and like what was that about? Like, I just want to know personally.
So you know, of course, you know, with me, you know, working at Columbus State, you know, I'm always gonna be part of the family. You know, so I'm not sure how the conversation went. I'm not sure if I reached out to him or he reached out to me, but I knew after that game that Columbus State would be a good fit for you, just based on his system, his style of play, and I'm just gonna say it right now, not just because, you know, I'm talking to you right now. I think you're one of the better bigs to ever play at Columbus State, you know, and I think you going, like, I don't know the players, you know, that Coach Moore coached when he was assistant coach. I'm just gonna talk about the players that I coached when I was there with him. I think you're in the same category with the Shane Haywards. I'm pretty sure he talked to you about them, you know, D'Angelo Kirkland, Brentine Taylor, DeMarcus, you know, McVeigh. So after playing against you guys, you know, Coach my best friend. I mean, that's my mentor. Of course, you know, I want him to be successful. I want him to stay at Columbus State forever. Like I said, I'm not sure if he called me, or if I call him, but I said, there's a kid at Beverly State, Coach, that you got to take. And he knows once I put that emphasis on, you got to take him. he pretty much trust my judgment. I said, this kid, from what I heard, you know, was a project coming out of high school. That's what I heard. I heard you was a project. And
I was.
Yeah. So what I saw, you know, against us, you know, in the NCAA, not NCAA tournament, the state tournament, I said, if this kid has shown progress from his freshman year until his sophomore year, I said he's going to be a you know, of course I coach in the league. I said he's going to be an all-conference player in the Peach Belt. So that's kind of how the conversation went. But I was definitely a big advocate for you to play at Columbus State. And actually, Coach Chaney at AUM got mad at me.
Oh, you know Coach Chaney?
Yeah, I know Coach Chaney because I heard you was committed to or not committed, but close to signing with AUM until Columbus State came and got into the picture.
Yeah, at the time, you know, COVID was going on and things like that, so my recruitment was moving real slow at that time. And, you know, I was talking to some schools, even talking to some D1 schools, but I could tell nobody was quick to offer. So my main offers was, like, my at the time, I would say I was leaning towards AUM.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Columbus State kind of slid into the picture.
You're right.
And then you know, I started looking into them and things like that. And, you know, it just seemed like the better place for me when they offered, and then, you know, they offered the full ride. I ain't gonna get into my whole like recruitment story, but after they offered the full ride, and, you know, I talked to the coach and Coach Moore, Coach Butler, and we all hopped on Zoom with my family because we couldn't go on a visit.
Right.
You know, they sold me on it. It just seemed like a good place for me. Like you said, it seemed like a good fit the way they played and things of that nature. And like I could tell they wanted me to play there. Like, you know, it wasn't one of those things like, oh, you know, he might be good, he might not. Like, it was like, oh no, you are what we need here at our program. I remember they put up on the Zoom, they showed some of my highlights at Belleville. Like, they put a clip of my highlights and then showed a clip of Hunter Preston that's been playing here the past 3 years. They showed a clip of him. He was like, this is what our big does. And they showed a clip of Hunter. And then they was like, this is something you did at Belleville this year, showed a clip of me. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. So, like, I'll be doing similar things, you know, work on my game and, like, get better. And so I was sold. But
I put a word, like when I call Coach Moore about a player, he usually take my word for it. And you know, Coach Moore, a great guy to, you know, to play for. You know, you know, he pick and choose, like he does a great job of, you know, managing, you know, kids and managing behaviors. You know, and one thing people don't realize about Coach Moore, like he give kids opportunity to change. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, some players be like, man, why Coach Moore keep, you know, putting up with this? But, you know, the easy thing to do is to get rid of a kid. Now, you know, why not give a kid opportunity to change and, you know, grow from his immaturity ways, you know. And then another thing, if you sit down and look at the history or look at the time that Coach Moore been at Columbus State, think about how many pros he produced at Columbus State. There's so many guys playing overseas, you know. That's just because of who he is, you know. Coach Moore is a personable person, you know, great guy. He has the contacts, you know, to get guys overseas, you know. So if I had to go Division II, and, you know, if I was a guard or big, that's where I'm going, you know. I call it pro university because he produced a lot of pros.
Yeah, he definitely do that. So, but I'm happy to be here, man. I appreciate you putting that word in for me because, you know, who knows if they would have came and got me if it wasn't for you. So, or at least, if, you know, I appreciate it. It just means a lot to me.
Yeah, you never know.
But you got any more questions for my guy? I know you got at least one more.
Yeah, we talked about scouting a lot, and I was wondering if would you say scouting is like your coaching superpower? Like, that's the one thing that separates you from other coaches, or that's what makes you such a great coach?
I think the reason why we've had success at CV is because of who I am and what I believe in. Like, your team is going to be whatever you emphasize. And like I shared with you guys before, I consider myself a defensive guy. You know, like the last 3 years at CV, you know, we talking about, you know, having the #1 scoring defense in the league. You know, that's, you know, think about Shelton State. Like, my buddy Joe won, you know, 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 state championship. You know, Alan Sharp is back at, you know, Hansville. But when you talk about CVCC basketball, I think a lot of coaches in the league would say, you know, our identity is toughness and defense. Like I shared with you guys, you know, we led the league in points per game. And the reason why, because we do a great job of scouting, and we try to take away the best player, take away, you know, sets and force teams to beat us by, I'm just, you know, playing street ball. And we feel as though we're disciplined enough to guard off the bounce. You know, we don't deny wings. We try to, you know, protect the gap and force team to beat us from the outside. You know, I try to focus on the small things, you know, like I say, sprint back in transition, closing out with high hands, guarding off the bounce, you know, protecting the gap, you know, and then when the shot goes up, you know, every shot has to be contested and all 5 guys boxing out a rebound. But yeah, scouting is one of the reasons why, I think we've had success at CB. We watch a lot of film on the opposing teams that we're about to play. We look at personnel. We try to take away all the set plays and like I say, force them to beat us playing street ball. So yeah, I would say scouting is one thing that we emphasize at Chat Valley.
Mm-hmm. So
I can attest to that.
So whose coaching style would you say that you're similar to? Like if you could point to a college or a pro coach to be like, we kind of similar in these ways, who would you point to?
So offensively, I'm gonna say Jay Wright at Villanova. We run a 4-out-1-in system, and we try to teach all the fundamentals that he teach. Anytime, our kids drive in traffic, we try to play off 2. If you think about it, if you drive to the basket and commit to a one-leg layup, like you're done, like you already committed to it. But if you play off 2 and force, the defense to collapse and you're able to kick out to wide open players, that's going to give you an advantage. So we shoot a lot of threes. I mean, I coach with Coach Moore, so that's just how we play. We try to get paint touches. We play off 2. We definitely share the basketball. I don't believe in a selfish player. Last year we set a program record. We had 30 assists in one game, so I would say offensively, I'm a big Jay Wright fan, and defensively, I forgot my guy's name at Virginia, Tony Bennett at Virginia. If you look at their I don't know if it's dad. I know he stole, well, not stole, but his philosophy is similar to his dad. So I look at a lot of Virginia defensive clip. Like I say, we try to protect the gap. I don't believe in denying because I don't think teams deny for 40 minutes. Some people say, yeah, we deny. You're not going to deny for 40 minutes, but you can protect that gap for 40 minutes. So offensively, I would say Jay Wright, and defensively Bennett at Virginia.
I can see that just hearing how you talk about the game and everything. It kind of makes sense now.
Yeah, and of course we run zone to Amoeba. I got that from Coach Moore.
Amoeba.
I think y'all changed it up though. I think y'all do more of a matchup zone now versus just all out Amoeba.
Yeah, they say they do that for me.
You can't cover corners. That's what I heard.
Hey, hold on, man. Hey, man. They say they do that so I can block shots and stuff, man. Yeah, so I can stay near the.
Nah, I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah, but nah, the amoeba is called more baby. You can't mess it up and think you're gonna play. If you messing up the amoeba in practice, he almost don't care how good you is on offense. You gonna have to get this amoeba down.
Yeah, he love that now.
But
he love that zone.
But
I got another one for you. So if you had to shout out someone, it can be like one of your assistant coaches like you did before, a player that you coach or coached against, a coach that you coached against, anybody you know of. It can be pro, college, high school, whatever. But shout somebody out that feel like they need more attention and love that they don't deserve, that they deserve but not getting. Like, who would you shout out right now?
I'm gonna say, I know you asked me to shout out one person, but I can't. I got 2 people. The first person gonna be, Coach Moore. I mean, he's my mentor. Obviously, a lot of people have helped me with my career along the way, but I would say Coach Moore gave me that confidence, as a young black man that, I can possibly, be a Division II head coach one day or Division I head coach one day. Not that I was thinking that, but he gave me the confidence to believe that. And another thing that people don't realize about Coach Moore, like, he loved the Lord, man. Like, he's gonna go to church. He's gonna pay his tithe. I mean, although he don't talk about the Lord all the time, but he's definitely a Christian man. And another reason I shout out Coach Moore, he's the reason why I have my master's. He told me in order to to make money in this business, man, you got to separate yourself from other people. And I just watched him, you know, go to school to get his master, and actually got his EDS too as well. Because at the time he was at Brookstone as a PE coach, and I think at one time he felt like he was going to be at that level and possibly wanted to move into administration. And another thing Coach Moore taught me is balance. You know, a lot of times coaches think about basketball. He taught me that balance, and that's one reason why my Instagram is, you know, faith, family, you know, basketball. You know, no matter what Trey had going on, no matter what the season, you know, looked like, he was going to make time to go support his son, and he taught me that. He also taught me how to, you know, run a program and you know, build relationships and you know, being involved, you know, with the community and things like that. So basically, you know, his philosophy was, you know, kind of like mine now, academics, you know, community and championships, you know, and I kind of learned that from him. And, you know, we're talking about a guy that was a high school coach at Brookstone when Columbus State job came open. You had, you know, Division I assistants trying to get this particular job, and, you know, just the confidence he had in himself to go in an interview and possibly get the job, you know, gave me the motivation I needed to have to you know, give me the confidence to have a great career myself. So he's one. And then another guy, like I say, is my assistant coach, Rita. I don't think he get enough credit. You know, he's a part-time guy that's, you know, beat me to the office last league. He's my right-hand man. You know, without him, you know, Chat Valley is not successful. You know, I can't do it, you know, without him, you know, him and Coach Champ. So those three guys, man, are three guys I definitely want to shout out for sure.
Man, shout out to Coach, man. Hey, it's nice to hear somebody talk that way about Coach, man.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. He's a great dude, man.
Man,
yeah, we had him on the podcast before. And
oh, for real? I need to watch that one.
Yeah,
y'all need to send it to me.
I got you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, email it to me. I want to look at it.
Yeah, I got you for sure.
Yeah, but, it was real nice to meet him, and I see I see how you can talk so highly of him. Like, even just the short conversation we had, it's like he's a real good dude. So like, I can see where you get that from.
Yeah, great dude,
man. So shout out to Coach and shout out to Coach Reedy. Like, yeah, I got a lot of love for Reedy too. I can tell he loves the guys, like I said earlier. So shout out to him too, man.
Absolutely.
But B, you got any more questions for my man right here?
Yeah, last question. I got you. You got to end us out strong right here. End us out real strong right here. So I need one good story or one good idea or whatever. So something that the game has taught you or that a coach has taught you within the game of basketball, but that you can like apply to life. Like, it's bigger than basketball. Whatever this thing is, it got to be bigger than basketball. So it can be something the coach taught you, something you learned from hooping or whatever. So give me something. Got to end us out strong right here, Coach.
Golly. Oh. I don't know if I can think of anything.
No pressure, Coach.
No, not at all.
Our whole podcast just hinges on this story.
I don't know if I have one.
But just, you know, a lesson that the game has given you over the years.
Man, yeah. So just, you know, just being, because if you really think about it, like, I coach basketball for a living, man. Like I get an opportunity to, you know, see a kid with, you know, no offers, no hope, and, you know, I give them an opportunity to be a part of a team, be a part of a family, and, you know, teaching him the life skill he needs, not, you know, only off the court, you know, but, you know, how to conduct themselves as a young man on campus. You know, watching him struggle in high school academically and trying, you know, here at this level, graduating, you know, getting a scholarship to a four-year school and earning his four-year degree, and then getting a great job and being married and having a family. You know, like for me, you know, I grew up in South Indian City in the project. You know, only thing we knew was to, you know, graduate from high school, go to Swiss Spin and get you a box Chevy and ride the streets, you know. And if it weren't for basketball, ain't no telling where I would be. So, you know, hopefully I changed kids' lives in the past, and hopefully I can continue to teach kids life lessons and get them an opportunity to get a degree and possibly provide for their family and their loved ones, you know, one day. So that's rewarding to me. I know a lot of guys think I'm hard, but I'm tough, and you know, I'm always breathing down their neck, but you know, hopefully they'll appreciate it. I know they don't appreciate it now. I'm pretty sure they call me a big bald head joke or whatever. He make me sick, but it don't matter. But at the same time, they're listening and you know, and putting themselves in a situation to take care of not only themselves but take care of their family as well. So that's what's rewarding for me and coaching, man. Just giving kids opportunity to change their lives. Sorry, I ain't have a story for y'all.
Hey, that's a strong end. I like it.
It's all good. As long as you gave the people something at the end, that's all we're really looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
But man, that does it for another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. We appreciate y'all for listening. We want to thank you again, Coach Hicks, for spending your time with us and giving us the knowledge in the game that you did and sharing a little bit about you with our audience. That means a lot to us.
Yes, sir.
And you guys, I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment anything. If you had any questions for Coach Hicks that maybe we ain't answered, leave it in the comments and we might get it to him. We'll see.
But yeah, send me that email me that Coach Morton. I would love to see that.
For sure, I'm gonna get it to you because I know that's your guy. But be sure to follow Coach Hicks on social media. We got his social media. We put it up on the screen for you. It's Coach B Hicks on Twitter and faith.family.basketball on Instagram. So y'all be sure to go give him a follow over there if y'all get the chance. Be sure to follow Brian on all social medias at BeBall Jones. That's BeBall Jones on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on TikTok. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at NellyH34 and Nelson.Haskin on IG. And you can find me by my name on Facebook. And that's it, man. We appreciate y'all for listening once again. Please be sure to like and subscribe and catch us next week for another great episode. But until then, we out.